All truths are easy to understand once they're discovered. The point is to discover them. The laws of nature are written by the hand of God in the language of mathematics. You can't teach anybody anything, only make them realize the answers are already inside them. I have never met a man so ignorant that I could learn something from him. Knowing thyself, that is the greatest wisdom. In this science, the authority of thousands of opinions is not worth as much as one tiny spark of reason in an individual man. I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with senses, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. To understand the universe, you must understand the language in which it's written, the language of mathematics. To be human, we must be ready to pronounce that wise, ingenious, and modest statement. I do not know. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and depending on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. Two truths cannot contradict one another. Nevertheless, it moves. There are those who reason well, but they are generally outnumbered by those who reason badly. Measure what can be measured, and make measurable what cannot be measured. The Bible shows the way to go to heaven, not the way the heavens go. Mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe. The greatest wisdom is to get to know thyself. And who can doubt that will lead to the worst disorders when minds created free by God are compelled to submit slavishly to an outside will? When are we told to deny our senses and subject them to the whim of others? When people devoid of whatever competence are made judge over experts and are granted authority to treat them as they please. These are the novelties which are apt to bring about the ruin of commonwealths and the subversion of the state. When the senses fail us, reason must step in. Science proceeds more by what it has learned to ignore than what it takes into account. Long experience has taught me this about the status of mankind with regard to matters requiring thought. The less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them, while on the other hand, to know and understand a multitude of things renders men cautious in passing judgment upon anything new. The prohibition of science would be contrary to the Bible, which in hundreds of places teaches us how the greatness and the glory of God shine forth marvelously in all his works, and is to be read above all in the open books of the heavens. Surely God would have caused birds to fly with their bones made of solid gold, with their veins full of quicksilver, with their flesh heavier than lead, and with their wings exceedingly small. He did not, and that ought to show something. It is only in order to shield your ignorance that you put the Lord at every turn to the refuge of a miracle. In my studies of astronomy and philosophy, I hold this opinion about the universe, that the sun remains fixed in the center of the circle of heavenly bodies, without changing its place, and the earth, turning upon itself, moves around the sun. You cannot teach a person something he does not already know. You can only bring what he does know to his awareness.
Young Galileo, pointing his telescope towards the stars. What was in his young mind? He went against the concepts of his time. During this age, scientists in the church believed that the sun and the planets revolved around the earth. Galileo and some scientists before, such as Copernicus, believed the earth and the planets revolved around the sun. Galileo was the first scientist to use the telescope to prove his theory. Yet, why does man hold on so tightly to his ideas and beliefs? The Catholic Church and the Pope himself couldn't believe Galileo. They said he was a heretic. How dare you challenge this idea that the sun and the planets revolve around the earth? Who do you think you are? Imagine being tried by the Inquisition. They found him guilty and placed him under house arrest. Fortunately, they didn't kill him. Yet, he spent the rest of his life in house arrest. Today, Galileo is known as the father of the following: father of observatory astronomy, father of modern physics, father of the scientific method, father of science. All I can say is, wow. Imagine Galileo also studied and mastered the following: astronomy, physics, engineer, philosophy, mathematician. He was, in my eyes, a genius. He was way ahead of his time. Isn't it amazing we don't want man to challenge our way of thinking? Man at times loves living in the box. It's a comfort zone. You don't want to learn anything new or be challenged. If someone has something to say that is different, we get angry. How many innocent people got killed in the Inquisition? To be honest, I probably would have died back then from what I'm saying today. Just think, Christ died on the cross. Yet the Inquisition killed millions of people who believed in Christ in a different way. What do you think Christ would say? he would shake his head and probably have tears of compassion flowing from his eyes. Look, this adventure of life is all about discovering the mysteries of life. We should be grateful when we meet someone who has a different idea or concept of life. I was fortunate to be brought up in a household that accepted all ideas in life. Till today, I still love to hear life stories from people all around the world. Imagine today we have telescopes scattered throughout the universe. We are looking for the mysteries of life.